On Tuesday, top seed Jannik Sinner will kick off his Wimbledon 2025. It's already been an eventful tournament for Sinner. Why is that? Because he has already confirmed that he's parted ways with Ulysses Fadio, his former trainer, and Marco Panici, his former physio. They had come to Sinner from the Djokovic camp. They're no longer working together. Sinner was a little cagey when asked why, sort of said it's nothing major. The Italian media has reported that one of them gave an interview that didn't sit well with Sinner, but this is very strange, especially for such a measured player. Remember, on the eve of the U.S. Open 2024, he also parted ways with his physio and trainer. It did not serve to ill effect as he won the tournament, but that's a lot of churn. And I was told that there are trainers on site. Someone from the Italian Federation is here as well in the event of injury, but Jannik Sinner starting this tournament with some turnover in his camp. That's a story we'll be following.
All right, John, thanks. Here's the full quote from Sinner on why he made those team changes. Nothing big happened. I parted ways not long ago, but it's not affecting me. I feel ready to compete. I feel free. I feel me and my team, we are ready to do the best we can. Okay, fine. That's still odd to do, no, on the eve of a major, Jim?
I didn't know that they had word salads in it. That was impressive. I thought it was...
With the Parmesan sauce.
Yeah, I would think so. Look, we don't know what's going on. We certainly suspect that he got irritated, it sounds like, and decided to move on. One thing we do know, he comes across as a very cool cat. He's a cold-blooded assassin.
Yep.
He took out Riccardo Piatti, who had been like a father figure, after he'd made the quarterfinals of the Australian Open years ago, decided that wasn't good enough. He'd lost to Tsitsipas. He didn't like the way he played. He felt like he wasn't tracking. And he hired Simone Vagnozzi. And then about 4 months later, he hired Darren Cahill. And lo and behold, he's become the best player in the world by the rankings. So he makes no bones about running his business like a mobster. I kind of love it.
Tennis players also, look, everyone loves stability, right? You don't want these giant moves right before a slam, but one thing we know about him, he is unbelievable at compartmentalizing. Even after winning Cincy, the news broke the next day that he had been dealing with this whole possible suspension thing for the last several months. None of us knew. The guy came out, won Cincy, made this announcement, won the U.S. Open, so don't think it'll affect the tennis here, but yeah, it's big news.
He actually hasn't had stability, though, has he, right? He fired his first set of physio and fitness after they were involved, allegedly, in the doping issue. Now he fires a second set. He's losing Darren Cahill at the end of the year. For a guy who's at the top of the game, there is some tumult in his team.
Yeah, I think for a tennis player in an individual sport, you have to be completely comfortable with the environment around you. And if you feel like you're giving off any kind of energy, negative or any anxiety about members of the team, you're gone. And your Sinner's goal is to win Wimbledon. He's not going to waste any energy if he's not completely comfortable or completely feels like he can be himself. That's clearly how he felt. He wanted to have a clean slate here at Wimbledon. It was interesting, the first round of firings before the U.S. Open, that seemed to be more public pressure, right? Because his physio took the fall for the positive drug test, but Sinner kept him through all the way to the time where nobody knew about it. And once it became public, it seemed like he felt like, well, this is something I have to do. This feels different. This feels like he was not happy with whatever was going on behind the scenes, and he wanted to play Wimbledon without that stress.
Prakash, you get to spend the most time out of all of us with Sinner. Jim says he's a cold-blooded assassin. He comes off as a very personable guy. What's he like?
I agree with that. Because it doesn't seem like anything bothers him. Sometimes I want to see more emotion from him. He doesn't get too up. He doesn't get too down. As brutal as his French Open loss was, for example, of course, it's something you're never going to forget. But he just, he kind of goes blank a little bit, focuses on the next thing, and he is cold-blooded. And I think that's why he's also so unbelievably great at what he does in those big moments.
And if you don't know, now you know.
There you go. There you go.